Yes, well, I'm gonna need you to re-upload your outline when you go home, because for some reason you uploaded it and it is 4 gigabytes large. Sorry, 4 megabytes large, which is still enormous.
I did the PowerPoint and the outline.
Oh, delete the PowerPoint when you go home for me? Thanks.
Okay. SEC football and drinking are two activities that seem to go hand in hand. The tailgate is the beloved part of Saturdays in the fall, but what if the tailgate didn't have to stop at game time? Due to a ban on drinking in SEC stadiums, this is not now possible, but a lack of justification for the ban have many questioning how valid it is. I'm sure almost all of you have tailgated before at least once, and whether or not you actually consumed alcohol, it's impossible not to feel the school spirit when everyone in Athens is preparing for the game. Schools could expand on this feeling and improve many other aspects by allowing drinking in their stadiums.
Lifting the SEC's ban on drinking at football games will lead to a healthier and more controlled alcohol consumption without tarnishing the image of the universities. Specifically, a lift on the ban would lead to less crime, less hospitalization, without discrediting the academic integrity of SEC universities.
Alright, those that are opposed to lifting the ban often cite that selling beer in stadiums is going to increase unruly behavior, but the evidence is to the contrary. In 2011, West Virginia began selling beer at Mountaineer Field, and according to Campus Police Chief Bob Roberts, aka Robert Roberts, this reduced the number of alcohol-related police incidents by approximately 35%. A similar report about the University of Louisiana came out the same year. You see, selling beer in the stadium reduces the need to pregame and actually gives the university some control over who gets to drink and how much. Whereas our current system causes alcohol enthusiasts to find other deviant ways of getting their buzz on. This brings us to my good friend Jerry. Now Jerry was a good man, but he was kind of a dumbass. And he also wasn't a good man. He was kind of an asshole. But anyway, the year was 2013. It was the South Carolina game year, and good old Jerry thought it'd be a good idea to smuggle in several crushed up Dasani bottles filled with warm Evan Williams Green Label, and it was terrible. And we were chiefing those in the student section. We looked up and saw cops in the upper deck looking down at us, and for some reason they only arrested Jerry, threw him out of the game, arrested him, and jail time and terrible low quality warm liquor could have all been avoided if they just sold beer in stadiums. So you see, selling beer in the stadiums would improve the overall fan experience, not hurt it anyway.
Supporters of the ban also say that a university is an academic institution and therefore it shouldn't be able to serve alcohol. The argument that a university is an academic institution is obviously true. However, in addition to being an academic institution, universities should also be considered as both a cultural and a community institution. And while an academic institution serving alcohol would not be appropriate, a cultural community institution that serves alcohol, such as a theater or a county fair, is perfectly acceptable. And if we narrow the focus and consider just football games, to consider a football game a strictly academic event would be a downright lie. First of all, these events are usually attended by a majority of non-students. For example, here in Athens, at a game, on average, 4 out of 5 people in the stadium are not students. At Alabama, 5 out of 6 people in the stadium are not students, and at LSU, this number goes to 6 out of 7. Clearly, these games are marketed towards non-students, and therefore it's hard to consider them academic. In fact, I would consider them non-academic. Second, universities also profit off these games by putting them on television and selling merchandise. Clearly, these games are used to make money. The goal is not to educate students with these games, but rather to win in order to make money, in order to improve the program, and the cycle continues. If the goal is to make money, it honestly would make a lot more sense to just sell alcohol at the games and reap that profit, but they're not really doing this that logically. It's really illogical to consider an event with non-academic goals that caters to a mostly non-academic audience as academic, even if it is hosted by an academic institution. There's an inherent hypocrisy here in which universities want to be treated exclusively as a place of learning while not actually operating as such.
Also, allowing the sale of alcohol at football games would greatly reduce hospital-related accidents related to the overconsumption of alcohol. Banning alcohol at football games is very similar to when the United States enacted prohibition in the early 20th century. When the United States banned alcohol, people just found ways to sneak it in or make it themselves, which made for alcohol with higher concentrations, which was much more dangerous and was available to much younger people. In fact, according to the drug library, people during the later years of Prohibition started drinking over a year earlier than they did before, and there were higher casualties due to alcohol. This is the same thing we deal with today in a different way. For example, I have a friend who, because he knew he couldn't drink during a game, he decided that he still wanted to have, be drunk for the game, and he wanted to drink enough alcohol, so he drank 3 to 4 hours worth of alcohol in the hour or two before the game, which meant that he drank way more than he should have and ended up passing out due to alcohol poisoning before the game even started, forcing me and 2 of my friends to carry him out of the stadium and get him to the hospital for safety. This story has many others like it all throughout college campuses on Saturdays in the SEC. And all of this can be solved by allowing alcohol sales at the games, because when you do that, you can control who drinks, how much they drink, and how quickly they can drink to ensure that they drink in moderation and don't endanger themselves or others.
Yeah, just to add one thing to what Adam said, those noon games especially suck for trying to pregame as fast as you can. So despite critics' concerns about behavior and school image and health, the evidence shows that allowing beer sales in stadiums won't be detrimental in any of these areas, and in fact might help some of them. And so selling beer in the stadiums will reduce the number of alcohol-related police incidents, injuries, without tarnishing the reputation of the schools, their academic prestige. Not that places like Bama or Ole Miss have any. That's it, thank you.
Oh, I see what you're saying.